Everybody, welcome to One-on-One with Bennie Fowler on the DNVR Broncos Podcast. We have a special guest today, a former teammate of mine, and now I'm his number one fan here in Denver, Evan Engram. Man, welcome to the show, my brother. What's going on?
Appreciate you having me, man. A lot's been going on as of late, but it's been a blessing. Excited to be a part of the Broncos. Excited to be on the podcast with you, man. Like you said, we go way back. We got stories for days with our time in New York, but it's good to be on here, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. The first question I want to ask, and I just asked this to Young Shep last week. I want to ask you to spill the beans right now, which is my nickname, as you know. What
Uh-huh.
were your first what was your first impression of me as a teammate when I was in New York?
Bro, I mean, you came in as a dog right away. Like you were, it was crazy because I felt like you were a little bit older than me, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
we were probably
I'm
around the same
yeah, I'm like
age.
4 or 5 years older than you.
Yeah, so like obviously, we were super young in New York and we were all trying to find our way, especially me. So when you came in, bro, you got straight to it and we was all just like, yo, who was this dude like showing up, like balling out like this? And you know how it was in New York for us. It was kind of a lot of ups and downs, mostly downs, but you were always a light, man. You were always kind of staying positive through all the adversity, and you're definitely a source of energy for us for a while there. I'll never forget our time together, man. Definitely, like told you the other day, it's just super dope seeing you do what you're doing now. It's no surprise at all.
I appreciate it, man. For you, when I watched you as a teammate, my first impression is like, bro, like why does he have his hand in the dirt? Because he can run routes the way you run with after the ball, and you wore number 88. And number 88 is a special number here in Denver because of
Mhm.
Demarius Thomas. And you guys have similar body types, bro. You guys ran with the ball the same way. When you first signed here as a Bronco in free agency, I said, although Evan does play tight end, he is a route runner. But the way you carry the ball, I've only seen two people in my life, or three people in my career carry the ball like that.
Yeah.
Demarius, number one, and then you and Odell, because y'all hands are so big, it's hard for y'all to like to tuck the ball all the way. So,
Yeah.
man, you were just super explosive, dynamic, and you just had a great vibe about you. But you practice incredibly hard. And
Mhm.
I know we didn't have a lot of wins at our time in New York, but the practices were always live. When you think about Big Shep or Young Shep, Odell, Saquon, it was crazy talent on that offense.
Man, we like that's what sucks looking back on that time is we deserve so much better results than what we got. I mean, everything happens for a reason, a lot of the adversity is, honestly helped me in the long run and where I am now, but man, we deserve so much more, man. We were such a great group, so close, and all the personalities were just a perfect fit for a locker room. Definitely, looking back, I wish we were able to enjoy a lot more of those Sundays than we did. But yeah, man, we were alive. It was a great time, and I miss those guys every day. Yeah, I've built great relationships, since then. But man, that time we had together, obviously my first team and my first experience in the NFL, just a lot of guys along the way, helped me out a lot, and it's helped me get to the point where I am today.
Man, I love it. I love your perspective. Talk to me a little bit just about your growth. Obviously, the first couple years in New York, and then going to Jacksonville, and then having a 114 catches your first year in Jacksonville. Talk about what just the growth from the player in New York to Jacksonville.
Yeah, man, it was New York, like I said, a lot of tough moments, but wouldn't change a thing. I think adversity is essential for growth, and a lot of the struggles that I went through, especially with catching the football and holding on to the ball, it just really kicked me in the butt, honestly. And I always had high expectations for myself. I had a true vision of the player that I knew I could be and the player that I wanted to be. But those results just weren't showing up on Sundays, and there was a lot more that I could be doing. I appreciate you saying how hard I worked and the way I approached the game. But it's honestly night and day from what I did back then to now, and everything is just way more detailed. Everything is detailed to the very second or millisecond on film. with the minor details like hand placement and foot placement in my routes and releases at the line of scrimmage, different type of break points, getting in and out of cuts, running through the football full speed. All that adversity pushed me in a direction to build a true team around me that, a team that is going to, tell me how it is, be completely honest with me, hold me to a standard that that's along with the greats. I learned a lot about the greats in all sports. I did a lot of studying on Kobe and on MJ and LeBron and just that mentality around the work and their life and the decisions they made in their career to help them get to that point of greatness is just an adjustment I made for my game. And you say those guys' names, and they're the best players to ever live. And that's just the way I viewed my talent, especially at my position. I have a true opportunity to be one of the most dynamic players at the position. And there was a lot more work for me to put in to reach the expectations I had for myself. So I think it's a great part of my story is I think, one of those years I led the league in drops and then, get to Jacksonville, I put in the work and, a lot of people along the way has helped me. And for me to lead the league in catches and catch percentage as well. Just a testament to the hard work and the people around me that I've placed to help me evolve my game to the level that I know I'm capable of.
Not only that, what you just explained and what you just articulated so well is the importance of mindset, perseverance. We all know in the NFL, it's a lot of ups and downs. It is a microcosm of life. So I would just love to just acknowledge your growth, number one, for you to understand, hey, I did struggle in New York with some drops, and then to lead the league or be top in the league in terms of catches, bro, that means a lot. And you went to Jacksonville on a 1-year deal. Am I correct?
Yeah, so I played 5 years in New York and then was a free agent and signed a kind of a prove-it deal in Jacks. And that was the year we made the run. We started like 3-8 and then went crazy at the end of the year, made the playoffs, beat the Chargers. And that was, that was really the year where I was like, everything started to click for me and the work was really starting to pay off. And I did leave out, the mindset is a big thing. And bro, I learned a lot mentally as well. I dealt with a lot of things. A lot of adversity put me in a dark place in New York. And it's cool now because I'm able to give back to the younger generation of players that are coming into the league. As important as the physical work is, it's very probably more essential to learn the mentality and you make sure that your mind and your thoughts and the way you talk to yourself in your head is on point. And like I said, the team around me, man, is just it not only helped me physically, but also helped me mentally and my family and, the peace of mind that they provide me. I met my wife kind of in that transition from New York to Jackson. Just the life that we begin to build together and the peace of mind she brings me. And it's the mental side is just, if not more important than the physical side. And, all glory to God, just of, just the transition I was able to make and kind of the 180 where I was kind of labeled in New York to how I'm looked at now. It's just a huge blessing and just really thankful for the adversity that I faced.
I'm glad you have that perspective and congratulations on getting married, my man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. We both got married since the last time we've seen each other. So
Congrats
shout
to you
out
as
to our
well.
wives, bro. That's
Mhm.
incredible. You and Saquon had to get out of that dark cloud, bro. I mean, you,
Yeah,
Saquon,
man.
Odell, I think y'all all went to the playoffs after y'all left. Odell got a championship. Saquon got his ring. You got your big deal and top in the league in terms of catches. So I think it's all about the organization. I think it's about surrounding yourself with the right talent, but also the right coaching staff to bring out that talent.
Mhm.
I think that's super important. And when we think about that, I think about you signing here. So you came on a visit, talk a little bit
Yeah.
about the visit, then you left, went to the Chargers, and then you came back.
Bro, that was like I honestly felt like I was like in a movie that entire week. That experience was such a blessing. That was really the first time I was truly recruited since coming out of high school. And us football players, that recruitment is big because there's teams, there's these organizations, there's these franchises or institutions that are asking you to bring your talents to that place. I think that just that means a lot to me. And so to have such a historic organization like the Denver Broncos to call my phone minutes after I got a pretty surprising kind of bad news about getting let go from Jacksonville, and then obviously the Chargers got involved as well. It was just a great experience. It definitely, at the end of the day, in the middle of all of that, it was truly a win-win situation for me, football-wise. Two great organizations, two great coaching staffs, two great quarterbacks, two great offenses, and it was a really tough decision for me. And I think it really came down to how I really, how things feel to me like naturally. I put a lot of faith in God for Him to, lay my path out for me, and I promise I'll stay along that path. There's many times where I want to try to pave my own way and go my own direction, but I've learned in my life that just rarely doesn't ever really work out. So I think just the Denver was up first, and just walking in that building. I don't. Were you in New York where Davis Webb was? Davis with us for a little bit?
I had just missed him after training camp, so I joined like week 5 or week 6, but he was with you guys in training camp the year I
Yeah,
joined. Yeah.
yeah. So my boy Webb, man, we got drafted to New York together, and we were tied at the hip in New York. His apartment was right next to mine. We became best friends very really fast, and did everything together really. And so it was definitely tough when he left the Giants, but we always stayed close. We kept our friendship, going strong, and became a huge fan of his. Just even when he was playing other places, and especially when he became a coach, him making that transition. And so him being the quarterback coach, he was really the first guy to call me that night I got released. And I guess they gave him the keys to really amp up that recruitment process, because my boy hit me up with a 30-minute, just straight bar for bar snapped on what they got going on in Denver, and really got into detail on what the vision that they had for me within that offense. And so that definitely kicked it off. And in the building, he was my tour guide pretty much. I had dinner with George Payton and Coach King and Davis the night before, and then sitting down with Sean, it just felt right. Everything just kind of clicked. Everything just kind of felt like this was the place for me. And so it was crazy experience. It was in Denver, and the contract stuff is a lot harder than I felt like in free agency, you kind of just, open up Twitter or X or whatever, and you just see that the deal is done, and it's all like it's just such this easy thing. And the contract stuff is very, very challenging, and it is very grueling for agents and players and stuff. So that first day, it didn't work out exactly how we wanted it to. So I got on the plane to the Chargers, and had a great visit with them as well. And like I said, both teams pretty much laid out the red carpet, kind of got that recruiting feel again, which was a blessing.
That's got to feel good.
Um, Man, it's been so long since, I mean, shoot, I came out of high school 2013, so it's been super long. Even in high school, my recruitment was very short. Ole Miss called, and it was kind of a wrap. So
That was it.
so it was cool. Yeah, pretty much. So it was really cool to just to feel desired, and to to let my talents really speak for themselves, and speaks for itself. So it was super cool. And like I said, I really trust God with the path for me, and what He has planned for me, and everything felt right with Denver, and just super excited about this new beginning, and just the excitement that's in the air about the team, and the future, and where we're going. Everything that I've been through in my career, and the wisdom I have now, along with the talent that I bring to the table, it's just a perfect fit.
I love it, man. Take us inside that meeting with Sean. So I had the pleasure of playing for Sean in 2020, and his vision for offense and the way that he actually utilizes personnel. It's something that I saw a little early on in my career with Adam Gase and Coach Kubiak, where you would actually take players, and there are specific routes that you want them to run, and
Mhm.
the way that you dress up the offense. I got a chance to see Sean do that with Michael Thomas, and we had Traquan Smith, and Jared Cook and Emmanuel Sanders, and then we had Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. So we had a super dynamic offense the year out in 2020. I think we were number 1 seed in the NFC. So I got a chance to see him use all those weapons. Take us inside that meeting with him where he is talking about you being the Joker, because I saw you post the Joker on Twitter after you signed. So I was like, all right, he must have laid it out in terms of how he wants to use the offense without giving us, all the details. How did Sean just kind of lay out the vision for you?
Yeah, like it was just super cool because one, like Sean is like that super cool, chill, laid back uncle that like you could just go to and talk to about anything. Like,
With his doors
you know,
on.
with the J, like bro had this full Jordan jumpsuit on, vibing. And it was really cool because it was really organic. We didn't really I didn't walk in the office and we just got right to football, and that's what it was all about. Like we got to know each other and we got had a really good conversation. He was very personable with my wife, and got to know her as well, and that meant a lot to me. And so, but when we did get to the ball, everything that he's been looking for in that type of position that I play is me, is what I work for, the things that I want to do within the offense, the skill set that I bring, and even some of the things that I maybe haven't done a lot in the past. I have that drive to learn what that is. What are the details? What are the ins and outs of that? And then I'm going to attack it, full head of steam. And so, you know, I, the tweet that I put out was a cool, just kind of embracing of the moment. But that's what he was looking for. He's looking for that player that can be a jack of all trades, really. And it was really interesting because as I was supporting Davis as well, we'll watch their games, and there'll be a lot of crossover film from Denver throughout my season in Jacksonville and stuff. And I'd catch their games on TV, and just naturally, me just watching ball, I always like to put myself in the game, and watching their offense, and watching the way they're trying to spread the ball around. Like it was evident that that I could my skill set can be used within the offense. And so just it was just really cool to hear the vision that he had for me and the excitement that I have to attack that full head of steam. Because there are a lot of things that I do really well within that world right now. And I think, a big part of it as well was, becoming more of a vertical threat within the offense too. I think in Jacksonville, I was kind of a master of the underneath game, which is big for offenses. It's big for young quarterbacks. It's big for staying ahead of the chains, and I love that role in that offense, and I'm going to continue to be great at that, and be great at whatever I'm asked to do. But I think the vertical presence that he mentioned and brought to the table, and the vision he had for that was really big for me too, because I do have that part of my game, and I kind of ready to be unleashed in that aspect. And just the vision that he has for that is that Joker role. And I love the narrative of just the superhero, the super villains. I love superhero stuff. I love Spider-Man, Batman, Joker, all that stuff. So it's definitely cool. I love creating the narrative for myself to put a little bit of healthy pressure on me too. So just something I'm going to fully embrace, and whatever I'm asked to do, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
I love that, bro. Yeah. The shallow routes is something that I was watching your Jacksonville film last night and earlier today, just thinking and just watching your progression. I definitely remember, I don't know if it was a quick out or a shallow route. We were playing in Tampa, bro, and you took it 75. So I know that part of your game. But then I was watching some of your film and I saw this. Y'all were in a bunch formation in Jacksonville. This is last year playing the Packers, and you give my man a little at the line of scrimmage, and then run the corner route and then go up and get it. So I know you have that dynamic ability, and I can envision just you on the outside, Cortland on the outside, and then you got either Mims or Vele or Troy Franklin in slot working that. So I can see the dynamic ability that Sean is seeing as well, man. Last question is talk about Bo Nix and how excited you are to play with him, and did he have any involvement in the recruitment process?
Yeah, Bo was one of the first players from Denver to reach out. He was in the building when I was there. We had lunch together, got to know each other briefly. Um, but my biggest thing was just watching his tape. Sat down, I downloaded a couple games for the flight. Sat down and watched some more with Davis in the building. I mean, he has everything that it takes to be great in this league. And I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was his presence in the pocket. Is very calm, very collected. And when the pocket does break down, the plays he can make on his feet while having his eyes downfield is something that you have to continue to put great talent around, because that is a weapon. That is a true weapon. And then you look back to his college days, he's played a lot of football. A lot of these young quarterbacks come into the league now after, maybe sitting out their first year, balling for 2 years, and they're already a top draft pick, which they all have all the talent in the world, but it does take a lot of experience to,
Mhm.
become great at that position. And that's something Bo has grown a lot through. He had a great college career. I think there was a little bit of adversity in there as well, where that he had to overcome at a very early part of his career, and that speaks a lot to me, just as somebody that's overcome a lot of things in their career, and just this poise that he plays with, the swagger that he plays with, and even having lunch with him, just kind of briefly, I think he was sitting down with one of the trainers, and they were having a conversation about just his throwing progression in the off season, and the little minor things that he's working on. That was like that was music to my ears, just hearing the mindset, even just kind of as a fly on the wall. I wasn't really even in the conversation. I was just kind of observing him and his work ethic and his work process. I think when you put all those things together, um, there's something special there. And then obviously the rapport he has in the building, the way the coaches talk about him, it was something that really meant a lot to me as well. So really excited to get to work with Bo. He has a bright future ahead of him, and just whatever I can do to make his job easier, and to help him evolve as the great player that he can become. It's a great opportunity for myself.
Love it, man. Well, speaking on behalf of the alumni and Broncos Country, man, we're super excited to have you here. Looking forward to seeing what you do on the field, bro, with Bo, and nothing but love and respect for you, your family, the way you go about your business, man. So we're super excited and appreciate you joining this one-on-one.
Appreciate you too, man. Proud of you too, bro. You're doing your thing, man.
Thanks, bro.
Definitely no surprise here. So I appreciate you having me on, and it probably won't be the last time.
No, for sure.